the village declared means the inhabitants of the village or the residents of that village, they declared that this master, he was very intelligent, very knowledgeable, because the villagers, they are illiterate, uneducated. So according to them, this village master was quite knowledgeable person. He was the man of wisdom. So they declared how much he knew. He had ample of knowledge. He knew many things. 'Twas certain he could write and cipher too. It was sure, 100% sure, that he could write very well, and cipher means calculate. His knowledge of calculation, it was outstanding. Lengths he could measure, terms and tides presage, and even the story, even apostrophe en, that is even, but when you will pronounce it, you will pronounce it as even. The story ran that he could gauge in arguing to the person out his skill, for even though vanquished, he could argue still. Even this master, he was so intelligent and knowledgeable. The villagers used to say that he was skilled in prediction. He was skilled or expert in forecast, weather forecast also. He used to say that today will be cloudy day, today it will be a stormy day, hailstorm will take place, or it will be a sunny day. That means weather forecast also he could do. That is why the villagers, they adored him. Him means this village master. And even he could measure the lands, because most of the villagers and in plain region, they are the farmers or animal husbandry. So this master, village master, he could measure the land in perfect way. He was expert in measuring the land. The villagers used to say, in the argument, nobody can defeat him. If he is, suppose he is the defaulter, but if any educated person, he could easily catch that he is the defaulter, or whatever he is saying, that is not correct. But according to the villagers, whenever he used to argue, the villagers, they were compelled to agree with his statement. So they kept quiet. Only they used to nod whenever argument took place, and this master, he was the victorious party. That means always he was triumphant over his argument. For even though vanquished, that means, what is the meaning of vanquished? Defeated. Even he was defeated. In spite of that, the villagers, they used to agree. They agreed with him. And he could argue still. He continued his argument because he knew that the listeners, they were all illiterate. And he was the sole orator or speaker amidst them. While words of learned length and thundering sound, and he was a very good orator, he was a speaker, and whenever he used to deliver his speech, it was like thunderstorm. His voice was very, that means high and filled with gravity whenever he used to speak before the villagers. Amazed, the gazing rustics ran around, and the rustics means the villagers, the countryside people. They used to stare at him, and more he used to speak, more and more he used to deliver his speech, and more they were astonished. They were becoming astonished. So they were filled with wonder, WONDER, wonder. They were quite amazed. and still they gazed. Gazed means look at him. Look at him, and still the wonder grew that one small head could carry all he knew. They were wondering that one small head, and it was carrying so much of knowledge. He had ample of knowledge. Those are filled inside one small head. The last line, it is filled with satire, humor, and wit. The poet has presented this line filled with satire, or that means irony, humor, and wit. The villagers, they were thinking, this gentleman, this village master, he is so knowledgeable person. He is the man of wisdom. There is the satire, and there is the humor and wit. The poet has presented through only one line, the concluding part of the poem, that one small head could carry all he knew. Everything he knew, one small head. He could carry all knowledge, ample of knowledge. He is filled with knowledge. He is the man of wisdom. So guys, this is the content of the poem. Today I have told you, I have explained you the content of the poem. Next day I will explain and I will teach you the plot, the theme, or the central idea of the poem. Hope you have understood the poem. So guys, the background of the poem, that is countryside background and starting of industrial revolution. The poet Oliver Goldsmith, he has written this poem. When he wrote this poem, just industrial revolution started. The poet wants to say that during that time the education system or the methodology, teaching methodology in the countryside is like this. So the poetry, this poem, is the reflection of the contemporary period or the countryside place in Europe. How was the teaching methodology during that time? So the poet has given us a vivid knowledge about the contemporary education system in the rural areas, about the rustics, about their innocence, how the people, they were innocent, that they could believe all the lectures or all the statements of that village master. Undoubtedly, the village master, he was quite knowledgeable, but the villager used to adore him. They adored him because they used to think that he was the most knowledgeable person and the man of wisdom. So guys,